All right, let's tackle one of the most intimidating parts of any business plan, the industry analysis. It can feel like this huge, scary mountain to climb, but I promise by the end of this, you're going to have a clear, research-backed roadmap to absolutely crush it. So, you're putting together a business plan. You've got your killer idea, you're fired up and ready to go, and then you hit the industry analysis section. And it just feels like this giant wall of research, right? You're probably thinking, where do I even start? Well, let's break it all down. Okay, first things first. Let's get this crystal clear because this is probably the biggest mistake people make. Your company is all about the internal stuff. It's your baby, your specific idea, your secret sauce, your strategy. The industry analysis, that's all external. You're taking a step back, looking at the entire playing field, the whole environment that every company, including yours, has to operate in. And to get us through it, we've got a super clear 6-step roadmap. We're going to start with the why, then we'll define that playing field we just talked about, size up the market, learn how to read the economic climate, get a handle on the big forces at play, and finally, boil it all down to find the real keys to success. So, part 1, why are we even bothering with all this? Well, the whole point is to ground your plan in reality. This section isn't about your gut feelings or what you think will happen. No, it's a research-driven, deep dive based on hard, credible data. And this quote here really says it all. The goal of this explainer isn't to just hand you the answers about, say, the coffee shop industry. It's to give you the framework, the method, so you can walk away and analyze any industry with total confidence. Okay, on to our second step, defining your playing field. Think of these as the foundational first moves, because let's be real, before you can analyze anything, you have to be super clear on what it actually is. And this really just breaks down into 3 simple but totally crucial actions. First, you gotta nail down your business concept. Super simple. What do you do and who do you do it for? Second, find your NAIS code. And please do not skip this step. It is literally the key that unlocks a treasure trove of standardized government and industry data. And third, you use all that great data to paint a picture of the industry itself. Who are the players, what are the products, and where are the boundaries? All right, so now that we've defined the field, it's time to check its vital signs. We need to get a real feel for the scale and the health of the market that you're thinking about jumping into. So what do we even mean by size? Well, it's about putting a real number on it, like the example you see here. We're talking about measurable things: total annual revenue for the whole industry, the number of companies in the space, the total customer base. And here is the golden rule. Every single number you use has to be backed up by a credible source. No guessing allowed. Now, a snapshot in time just isn't enough. You have to look at the trends. You need to understand the story over time. How has the industry behaved in the past? Has it been growing like a weed or has it been super volatile? And most importantly, what are the reliable forecasts saying about its future? And that brings us to this idea of industry maturity. See, every industry is somewhere on this timeline, and you've got to figure out where yours is. Are you jumping into an emerging field which is full of uncertainty but maybe huge opportunity? Or are you entering a mature industry where the competition is absolutely fierce and big players rule the roost? Pinpointing the stage is so critical because it shapes literally everything: your pricing, your marketing, your entire strategy. Okay, so we've looked inside the industry. Now it's time to zoom out a bit. Let's look at the broader economic climate and see how it puts pressure on the entire sector you're looking at. A perfect example of this is seasonality. Some industries have these really predictable peaks and valleys in demand. I mean, think about retail during the holidays or the travel industry in the summer. Understanding this natural rhythm is absolutely essential for things like managing your cash flow and planning your operations. And in that same vein, you have to figure out if your industry is on an economic roller coaster or if it's kind of protected by a shield. Is it a cyclical industry like travel or luxury goods that booms when the economy is great but gets hit hard in a recession? Or is it an insulated industry like healthcare or utilities where demand stays pretty stable no matter what the stock market is doing? Okay, now we're zooming out even further. This is probably the most research-heavy part of the whole process. But honestly, this is where the real aha moments happen. We need to do a big macro-environmental scan of the major forces that are shaping your entire industry. And these are the big 6 forces you're looking for. You've got to ask questions like, how is new technology changing the game? Are there new environmental regulations coming down the pipeline? What about shifting social values that are changing what customers want? You have to analyze how each one of these is impacting the entire industry. And remember, this still isn't about your company specifically. It's about the landscape everyone is playing on. So you've done all of this research. You've got pages of notes and data. Now what? Well, the final and most important step is to synthesize everything you've learned. It's time to turn all that raw data into powerful strategic insight. Because after all of that work, you should be able to answer one crucial question. What does it truly take to win here? Is the key to success relentless innovation? Is it being the absolute cheapest provider? Or maybe it's being the best at navigating a web of complex regulations. These are the keys to the kingdom, and your company's strategy has to be built around them. And let's end with this quote, because it's the perfect way to wrap things up. A great industry analysis doesn't try to convince the reader that your idea is amazing. It doesn't use hype. Instead, it just objectively presents the facts with clarity and logic. If you do that, you're not just writing a section of a business plan, you're building a rock-solid foundation for success.